She said that the lemons, I can use it directly onto the customer's mouth. Heya! Hello everyone, welcome. So, Playstyles support is here, Illuga, and I will help you understand and use Illuga in the simplest and easiest way. Let's go, shall we? Enjoy! First, we need to understand what lunar reactions and Moonsign is. In our case, the lunar reaction we are going to look into is Lunar Crystallize. Now, before we understand lunar reactions, we need to understand what normal crystallize does. Alright? So, the normal crystallize is really simple. Whenever the enemy has pyro, electro, cryo, or hydro on him, we can create crystallize reaction. All we have to do is apply some geo. In this case, I'm gonna use Illuga's E, elemental skill. Do you see this shard? When you pick it up, it gives you a small shield, a really small shield. In this case, we have electro on the enemy, and when we do this, we get an electro crystallize reaction. And if we pick it up, we get a small shield. This is normal crystallize. We can do the same thing with cryo or with hydro as well. So, what is lunar reaction or lunar crystallize? Think of Genshin Impact as a kitchen, and all the reactions is different food being made by different chefs. Okay, chefs are the characters here. Now, all the chefs here are 5 stars, but they do not know anything about lemon. What are lemons? Lemons are lunar reactions. They do not know what lemon is. Okay, now a new chef comes who is a 6 star, and that chef knows about what lemon is. What is lemon? Lemon is lunar reactions. Alright, in our case, the chef, the 6 star chef is Byeee. Byeee knows what lemons are, and she will teach all the other 5 star chefs what lemon is. So let me go and show you. For example, here we take Illuga. We have pyro on the enemy, right? And oh, why did it not work? It's because lunar crystallize can only be created when there is hydro on the enemy. Alright? Now we have hydro on the enemy. We have our 6 star chef, Byeee, okay, who knows what lunar reaction is, and she is teaching everyone else what lunar reaction is. Now, if anyone creates lunar reaction, basically when they use Geo on hydro, while Byeee is on team, they will create a lemon reaction, a lunar reaction. Do you see these 3 things? This is like a turret, okay? Think of it like machine guns. When you create this reaction 3 times, let me show. Let's try this again with Goro. Enemy has hydro on him. We use a skill, then, and third. You see, the machine guns, they started attacking the enemy. This is as simple as it gets, alright? So, Byeee is the 6 star chef who knows what lemon is. She brought lemon and told everyone to use it whenever there is hydro on the enemy, and everyone in the team now can use the lemons. But Byeee also did something that no one thought she will do. It was really unfair. She said that the lemons, you can only use it in the food, but I can use it directly onto the customer's mouth. Let me explain, okay? Think of it like this. The Illuga here and Goro here, they are creating the reaction. They are creating the food, and they are adding the lemon into it, right? Basically, they are adding the lemon in the food. But Byeee can use the lemon directly onto the enemy's mouth. Let me show how. Do you see the second hit? Again. You see this? The big yellow number right below the smaller one. Again, let me switch to skill. Skill. See, 2 numbers appeared, right? So what she does, she said to everyone that I am a bigger chef, I am a 6 star chef, and you are not allowed to use the lemon directly onto the enemy's face. So this is what we call direct lunar crystallize damage. Not reaction, damage. Reaction is the food and damage is the lemon. She uses the lemon directly onto the enemy's mouth, okay? And tells everyone that you are not supposed to do that. I am the only one who can do it, and everyone else has to make the food has to do the reaction to do lunar crystallize damage. Simple enough, right? Alright, so to recap, there is a kitchen and people make food there, but no one knows about lemon. And the six-star chef, she comes and tells everyone what lemon is and how to make food with it. But she also tells them that they cannot use the lemon directly into the customer's mouth. Only she is allowed to do that. Alright, simple enough. One last thing to understand about lunar crystallize. When you create a lunar crystallize reaction, it makes this three turrets, and these three turrets are considered to be a geo construct. Don't think about it much. It's not useful in many cases. You can make some fun teams with it, but don't think about it much. There are a few more things to understand about lunar crystallize. First is Geo Resonance. Here, normally if you have two characters, you still need to be protected by a shield to get Geo Resonance. But now, when you create the moon drifts, basically the turrets or the machine guns, you will get the Geo Resonance right away. Now, we'll look into one more important thing, and that is Moonsign characters. What is Moonsign? Think of Moonsign like a musical band, okay? And every character who has Moonsign in their passive, for example, Illuga, Moonsign Benediction, or for example, I know, Moonshine Benediction, they are considered to be a Moonsign character. Basically, a character from the musical band. And you need at least two of them to have this bonus called Ascendant Gleam. Ascendant Gleam basically means that the Moonsign characters, the band characters, are happy. They have their band teammate with them and they are happy. If they don't have band teammate, if let's say you are only using Byeee and no Illuga or Aino, then she is not happy because she only has one Moonsign in the team. She only has one band character in the team. So to make her happy, you need two of them at least. Okay, and you will get Ascendant Gleam. Ascendant Gleam is basically she is happy. Alright, simple enough. Now we need to understand what Illuga does in the team. Why is he used there? Illuga is a support for lunar crystallized damage dealers, not the lunar reaction, but lunar crystallized damage dealer. So basically, the lemon directly in the mouth, not in the food. Alright? Characters who can do direct lunar crystallized damage. Like, the only two characters right now we have is Byeee and Columbina. And the best character to use Illuga with is Byeee. First, what does Illuga do? How does his talents and kit work? Illuga's skill does damage and creates 4 to 5 geo energy particles. Now, his burst. We will understand it by an analogy. Normal attack, charge attack, plunging attack, elemental skill, and elemental burst is French fries. The stacks of Nightingale songs is biscuits. Okay? And when you have Geo Construct on the team, you will get 5 more per Geo Construct. And in our case, when we create Lunar Crystallize, we will get 3 Geo Construct right away. So in total, we will get 15. It will be added on to the 21. That will be 36. So every single time you will use Illuga's burst, he will give you 36 stacks of biscuit. But he will not give it to you right away. He will ask you to eat a French fry, then he will give you one of the stacks, and every one of them does 451% of Illuga's element mastery damage. Okay, so to summarize, every single time you eat a French fry, Illuga gives one stack of his biscuits to you, which gives you more taste, means more damage. Simple, right? Now, his first passive. What it does is when you use the elemental skill or burst, it gives you 5% crit rate and 10% crit damage. And he gives extra 50 element mastery as well, but this one he only gives if he is happy. So basically he has one more musical band member in his team. Alright, now one thing to note is that this passive gets better if you have his C6. Rather than 5% and 10%, C6 gives you 10% and 30% and 80 element mastery. Simple enough. Now the second passive. So we need to have 3 Hydro or 3 Geo in the team to get this buff, and it basically gives bigger biscuits. Bigger biscuit mean bigger taste. Okay, more damage. Simple enough. Now one thing to remember is that Illuga buffs only the active character. In our case, it would be Byeee, and he will buff Byee's geo damage by 67% of his element mastery, which is really small. And the Lunar Crystallize will be 451% of element mastery, which is a lot. Okay, simple enough. And he will buff the direct lemon damage. He will not buff the food, he will buff the lemon. So when Byeee takes the lemon and puts in enemy's mouth, he will buff it. But he will not buff when Byeee creates the 3 turrets. Okay, simple enough. Remember, he doesn't buff the reaction. He buffs the direct lunar damage, lunar crystallized damage done by Byeee. And the last one, basically, he's a band member. Now, his weapons. He has 3 weapons. I'm gonna list all 3 here. Dragon's Bane for element mastery, Cutting Crossspear for element mastery and a bit of energy recharge, Favonius Lance for even more energy recharge for yourself and for your team as well. So you can use any of these 3. Dragon's Bane will give most amount of damage. Cutting Crossphere will give you some amount of energy as well, so you have to build less energy on him. And Favonius Lance will give you most amount of energy, but you have to build some crit rate on him. Okay, you need to have at least 60 plus crit rate on your Illuga, and try to have R2 or R3 Favonius Lance for sure. Okay, for example, I have my Goro here who is using an R3 Favonius Warbow and his crit rate is 62%. Now it is a bit low because I'm using 4-star artifacts, but you get the point. Okay, when you're using 5-star artifacts on Illuga, it will not be a problem. Now what artifacts does he need? He only need 2 artifacts. Okay, either you can use element mastery and element mastery. Okay, basically 2-piece set of element mastery, 2-piece set of element mastery, or you can do like this, which I have done, element mastery and energy recharge. Or the best option is to use a 4-piece of Silken Moon Serenade, but only use this if your Illuga is C2. Simple enough, don't think about it. Now what stats does Illuga needs? You need to have as much element mastery as possible, but only if you can get your burst right away. So your energy recharge needs to be 75 if you do not have C1. If you have C1, then you can use above 155% if you are at C1. If you're using Favonius Lance, level 90 Favonius Lance is already giving 60%, so you will have around 200% energy recharge on him. Now his talents. What should we level up? Just his burst. Don't even think about it, just his burst. Now, what teams does Illuga needs? You will use Illuga with a DPS who puts the lemon directly into the enemy's mouth. So any damage dealer who does direct lunar crystallized damage, you will use him in her team. Right now there is only 2 options. Byeee, who is a main DPS, who is a DPS by nature, and Columbina, who is a support by nature, but she can still put some lemons into the enemy's mouth. Not as much as Byeee does, but she can still do that. So Columbina is not a good candidate. Right now only Byeee can do that. And second thing you will need is another musical band member in his team. So just putting Byeee and Illuga is enough to create 2 band members, which is enough. Now, how will you use Illuga? What will be his rotation? When will you use him? So, we'll go through a simple explanation, alright? Illuga has a really long buff of 20 seconds. So, you will use him almost at the last, but you can use him after Hydro as well if the hydro duration is more than the buff duration of Illuga. He has buff duration of 20. Columbina have hydro application of 25 seconds. So you will use Columbina first and then Illuga and then your other support. And then lastly you will go to Byeee and start doing damage. If the hydro is not as long as Illuga, then you will use it after Illuga. For example, we look at Aino, whose burst duration is 14 seconds only. So you will use Illuga, then you will use Aino, and then you will use the person with the shortest buff duration, which is Goro here. Now the last part is Illuga's Constellation. His C1 gives you more energy when you create Geo Reaction. Any Geo Reaction, it doesn't need to be Lunar Crystallize. C2 makes it so that you do off-field damage every 7 stacks used, which will make it so that you can use Silken Moon Serenade artifact set 4 piece of it, but only use it if no one else can use it. I forgot to tell that. For example, here the Silken Moon Serenade is on Aino, so I'm not using it on Illuga. If I had a team where I'm not able to use Silken Moon Serenade on my support, then I will use it on my Illuga. For example, Columbina. It will be better to have Columbina on this artifact if you're using Columbina instead of Aino, because it does more damage. So you will use Columbina on that artifact and Illuga will be on Silken Moon Serenade. But let's say you do not have Goro at all. Okay, you have Byeee, you have Illuga, you have Aino, and you have Columbina. Then you can use Aino and Columbina together. Columbina will be on the damage set, Aino will be on the Silken Moon Serenade, and Illuga will be the usual 2-piece artifact set. Okay? Alright everyone, we are at the end of the video. I hope this guide was helpful to you, and I really hope that your Illugas will be amazing. Bye. Have a wonderful day, people.